You're watching this video on Sunday the 3rd. It is the very last day that you have a chance to enter for MISFIT $30,000 cash. I'm a little bit sad, guys. I'm a little bit sad. Sad because this truck right here was my daily driver for quite some time. Nearly 7 months. And I fell in love with it. The stereo system, incredible. The headliner, sick. It was fully murdered out before we wrapped it satin red chrome. So essentially you're getting yourself a red truck that's also murdered out underneath. You decide to take the wrap off down the road. Then we threw a 4-inch Cognito lift kit on it that did nothing but improve the ride quality and added a bunch of really sick accent color underneath. And then of course these 24x14 concave American Force Torques with billet center caps. If you haven't entered yet, then you're 100% the definition of procrastination nation. This is my last friendly reminder to you guys before we say farewell to the window of opportunity for that truck. So in today's video, we have some problems with the OBS and well, hopefully we can derive some solutions. Problem's the fact that I have these amazing Fox 2.5 shocks. Look at these hardy suckers. They're beautiful. They have this like red orange anodized label. They're black and silver and they're gonna match up with the OBS perfectly. I've had these things sitting in storage up on the mezzanine for about 1.5 years time. These shocks were actually not intended for the OBS, though it happened to work out really well. They were supposed to go on Sarge, but they were backordered nationwide. And I think they're still backordered nationwide as we speak right now, unless you have some inside connection to find them. Aren't they sick? Damn, dude. All right, no need to flex on the vlog. We didn't enter. They're really sick shocks. For those of you guys that don't know, these Fox 2.5s are essentially the equivalent of a King shock. It competes in the exact same space and market. The 2.0s are also great shocks. It's just that their cylinder's a little smaller and same as the shock. These came in long after Sarge went off to Oscar down in Georgia, and I decided to keep him for a future project, and today, we're gonna be working to marry him up to the OBS. It's a perfect combination. So with the Carly leveling kit up front, the Carly adjustable track bar, the ride engineering, 4-wheel drive axle conversion, and then of course the 2012 axles, they should work. Although these are intended for a 2017 plus Illuminati, so it looks like we're gonna be okay for the front, from our rough estimates. The rear, however, well, stay tuned in this vlog, ladies and gentlemen, because there's some stuff that is about to go down and hopefully we can figure this out together. I always go into all of these new part installations with this project with the understanding that there's a potential it just might not work, but we won't find out unless we try.
Top first, then I'll press the bottom up.
The top half? Oh, right there. That's fancy.
Yeah, fancy as boy.
So this is why specific parts fit for specific things, but this project is nothing but the opposite of that. They're going to work, it's just gonna take a little bit of manipulation and of customization. But that's kind of my middle name, so I'm not all that stressed about it. The shock length is going to be okay, but I think I'm gonna buy some shock extension brackets for the bottom. They're pretty common with cheaper lift kits, but in this instance, I'll make an exception. I also need to figure out a way to create a better space between this 90-degree fitting and this RYD bracket because that tolerance right there is a little too close for comfort. These rubber grommets on the top and the bottom of the shock might move some, and I don't wanna break this off of this shock because these things aren't cheap. So I think what I'm gonna do is put about 1-inch spacer between basically the top of the shock and this washer right here that creates a hard foundation for the actual bushing itself. We are, however, going to throw them in for the time being because right now when we lift this truck up, the coil springs actually fall out because nothing's really holding that all together. We do have the track bar in there, but it's still not quite enough to keep everything nice and tight. I also need to figure out how we're gonna add a longer hose because right now, with the amount that we have, we can't really line up our reservoir. So, do you guys have any good options? I did reach out to the local Mannheim hydraulic store. They do these types of fittings for equipment. I'm wondering if that would be a good spot to do it because they deal with hydraulics all the time and they could probably recharge this whole shock in the process of doing what they do with hydraulics, hence their name. All right guys, so to verify our theory, Josh had an idea with some hardware that we haven't been using. We have this very nice nut that is definitely gonna be sturdy enough. We're gonna throw that up in there. We're gonna see if it works, and if it does validate our theory, then we can make it more legit, but for the time being, it's pretty freaking legit. Sound effects help so much.
Can I get your fingers out?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm not, I had to smell your fingers. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be an issue. I think that's gonna be working just dandy.
And that is now going to give us a little bit more downward travel in our rebound scenario. So let's see if we can get this thing compressed. Like one on either side.
Here's what I'm thinking.
You want the bigger one?
I think we're gonna want the bigger ones and we're gonna have to go around the bottom of the shock here to get it square.
Thank God that one company sent the wrong hardware. Worked out perfectly.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Worked out really perfectly. It's all good. We ended up getting the right stuff, but everything happens for a reason. They were looking out for us for the thing that has probably never been done or thought of doing before. All right, so we have those mocked up for the time being. We'll come back to them, but they're doing their job for now. On to the rear. This is where I would say it's gonna be a little bit more challenging. There's some more customization and things that should work just don't work, which is why Jake's removing the wheel right now. We have a feeling that the e-brake is completely seized, as you seeing all that sand and dirt flying out of the axle right now. I thought we got a better axle. I guess it presented better. I don't know if it worked any better.
And that's why I can't get the rotor off easy, because it should still come off easy.
Look, the pry bar, it's holding it right at the top. There she be.
That's what it was, your e-brakes are on.
Oh, who did that?
I'm sorry. We'll put that back on.
Oh my goodness, they look fantastic.
Yeah. So we just gotta take this out. This is all-
No, just cut the spring.
What?
If you just took a thing and cut right there, your springs will. Because when you say, like, when you do a tractor trailer, what you do is you hook one in and then you get a pry bar and you
Or a
put them.
screwdriver, yeah.
So whenever you take them apart, you just cut those and your e-brakes just unfold.
It looks a little messed up, but over here it's not terrible. It's good. It's fine.
Bring her back, boys, bring her back. OBS rolling on its own weight for the first time ever. It's just making a little less power. 2 manpower to be exact. Looks good rolling though, I ain't gonna lie.
What?
Who the hell put that there? What the hell? So here's what's next. The rear tank on this truck is going to come out and permanently it will stay out. Unfortunately, a lot of the purists are going to be very triggered by this, but it's what makes most sense for future mods to come. You're just gonna have to stay tuned for the build. Trust me, you're not gonna wanna miss it. Part of our problem is that on these older trucks, the shocks only faced one direction, and that was forward. There's a shock mount bracket up on the right side of the frame and the left side of the frame. But on new modern trucks, it's a little bit different. On newer trucks, one faces forward, just like the passenger side does on the OBS, but the other one faces backward. And that's what we're gonna work on. We're actually gonna cut the front one off and then weld it onto the back. So that way we have the same shock geometry as a modern truck, which is totally gonna improve the ride. Also, this view is incredible under here, but the exhaust is dirty. I gotta clean that. Hello.
That was uncomfortable to watch.
I was. As much as I'd like to say this is gonna be the last time that we're cutting rivets out of the truck's frame, that would be a complete lie.
What about truck frame?
You just keep doing your thing. Guys, so we got our measurement 11 1/4 inches for the bracket from 11 3/16 inches from the outside of the axle to the outside of the hanger. Did you get it? Ooh, what'd you get?
A freaking little baby horsefly.
We got dinner. So now we got to take out the auxiliary tank, and this is kind of where I had alluded on earlier. We're not going to be able to keep the auxiliary tank, but I do have a pretty creative solution to be able to still utilize the back and the front gas door. I'm actually going to tie in the filler hose from this tank to that tank, so it would feed the same tank. It's just depending upon your mood, you can use one or the other down the road. I still want them to be functional. I love this feature of the OBS's. I want to be able to use one or the other. It's just we're not going to have a secondary tank. That brings me to the primary and secondary, or the front and rear fuel tank switch. I have a pretty cool idea for that thing, but that's going to be a little bit down the road.
You're literally pulling one out right now.
Yeah,
one of them?
Okay.
Don't. Okay, go the whole way with it.
Nothing much moved, so I went the whole way with
Do
it.
you want to throw a nut back?
We're basically just slowly dismantling this truck 1 bolt at a time. Plumber Bob to the rescue!
They hate when you elevate. You're stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate.
See, I'm honest with you guys. This is why I didn't lie. We learned that those things don't even have to be ground off. They can just be air hammered. That Ingersoll Rand is a lifesaver. Wow, dude, that thing had some trajectory behind it, bro. It literally just launched all the way across the shop.
Why we didn't break the window?
See, guys, this is why I didn't lie to you earlier. These rivets, man, they never see.
Day 2.
All right, boys, new day. We actually got Kagan here. He's working on doing a stage 1 paint correction on 8-ball. Fortunately, the paint really wasn't in that bad a shape. It's just that that truck hasn't gotten some nice personalized TLC for a little while, so my man's making it happen. It's already looking absolutely incredible. He's got the front fender and the hood done, at least the side that we're on, and it is coming out gorgeous. But anyway, we're gonna continue forward here. We made really great progress yesterday because we got that shock mounting point relocated back behind the axle rather than in front of it. So now we're actually going to work our way over here, and we are going to attempt to get these suckers installed. This is the one that's gonna go on the driver's side. This is the one that's gonna go on the passenger side. Now, question for anybody that has some knowledge about these style shocks in the audience. As we asked you earlier, I've got another one for you. So do you notice anything different about these? They're both laying on the reservoir on their side. You notice how the mounting point is angled differently from one shock to the next? Well, this one actually works out really well because the reservoir pretty much faces down when it's mounted on the side of the chassis, give or take. This one, however, is like sideways. It's kind of strange. And I don't know, it looks like these can be adjusted, but my question is, can they be adjusted without compromising the integrity or the fluidity or any of the seals in the shock? Is there a way to go about doing that? I'm genuinely interested to know. Please drop a comment below if you have any expertise here. I think not only myself, but anybody that watches this YouTube channel could take this as a lesson learned. Plus, it would dramatically help out for the project. In the time being, we will be able to get these things up in there, but they will have to be adjusted eventually. These things are beefy though, guys. Like, they are no joke. They've got some size to them.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a pretty job, but that is sick. We gotta figure out how to spin that other one.
So I actually asked everybody on YouTube if they know if we can do that.
Can we do that?
So if we can do it, I'm hoping we can do it. I'm sure if there's a will, there's a way.
There is.
And here's kind of what I was talking about with the angles, guys. This driver's side one is honestly awesome. If I can change them though, I want to straighten the shock out to be completely parallel front to back with the frame rail. And then on the back, this one's completely different. It will actually interfere with our exhaust. I'm sure we could do a custom exhaust around it, which isn't a big deal. I definitely want to run these shocks. It's just, can we adjust it? Because if I can, we're gonna spin it towards Jake about 90 degrees, so that way it's facing forward and then everything's nice and symmetrical. But the fact that we've got 2017 shocks on a 95 truck with a 2014 axle, and it all came together relatively well, I consider this a successful video.
I'd consider it extremely well.
And that, boys, is where we're gonna sign off for today's update on the OBS. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hang tight for the announcement of MISFIT, $30,000 cash. That announcement should be out between the 14th and the 21st of July, so definitely mark your calendars for that. I cannot wait to see if you're gonna assume the position behind the wheel of my old daily driver.